Picture the world as a giant chessboard, but the pieces aren't soldiers or missiles. They're container ships, oil tankers, and the sea lanes that link them. Right now, that board is shifting in ways we haven't seen in decades. Tensions between the West and the rising China-Russia axis are growing. This isn't just about speeches or sanctions. It's showing up where it matters most: global trade. For years, the United States and its allies have effectively controlled the oceans that power the global economy. Think of the Strait of Malacca, the narrow channel between Malaysia and Indonesia that handles roughly a third of all seaborne trade, or the Suez Canal, the shortcut between Asia and Europe. Those choke points are watched, patrolled, and shaped by U.S. naval reach and Western partnerships. So ask this: what if you could bypass Western-controlled waters entirely? A shorter, safer corridor out of reach of U.S. fleets. That idea would have sounded like science fiction not long ago. Today it's real, and it even has a name that sounds futuristic: Arctic Express Number 1. It's like discovering a long-lost highway hidden beneath the snow, a route that was always there, just frozen shut. Here's the truth that most people overlook. Global trade routes are never just about trade. They're about who controls them. And right now, that control belongs mostly to the United States and its network of allies. Take the Strait of Malacca, one of the most vital shipping lanes in the world. More than 60% of China's trade and oil imports pass through it. That's an incredible level of dependency, and also a major vulnerability. The United States maintains a powerful naval presence throughout this region, through strong military partnerships with countries like Singapore, where the Changi Naval Base gives the U.S. Navy access deep into the Indo-Pacific. Washington can project power across critical sea lanes. Add to that a web of strategic outposts, from Cocos Island near Australia to St. Martin's Island near Bangladesh, and it becomes clear: the U.S. holds a maritime net that can tighten quickly in times of crisis. For China, that's the nightmare scenario, being trapped in its own trade routes if tensions rise or a conflict breaks out. Analysts call this the Malacca Dilemma. Now enter the Arctic Express. By using the Northeast Passage, China and Russia can bypass all of that. No Malacca, no Suez, no U.S.-controlled bottlenecks. It's like having a secret back door to move vital cargo: oil, gas, minerals, even military supplies, without Western oversight. And unlike the Indian Ocean or the South China Sea, where the U.S. Navy dominates, the Arctic is different. It's Russia's home turf. The Russian Northern Fleet, equipped with icebreakers, submarines, and Arctic air bases, holds near total control over these waters. For China, partnering with Russia on Arctic trade isn't just about saving time, it's a strategic insurance policy. It gives Beijing a plan B, a safe corridor in case traditional routes are ever blocked or compromised. What's unfolding here is more than a shipping shortcut. It's a military maneuver in slow motion, a shift in logistics that quietly weakens U.S. naval dominance without a single missile being fired. And to make this plan work, both nations are backing it with serious technology, infrastructure, and investment. Of course, strategy means nothing without the means to execute it. You can't just draw a line through the Arctic on a map and call it a shipping lane. The Arctic remains one of the harshest environments on Earth, with temperatures dropping to -40 degrees Celsius, hurricane-level winds, and ice thick as concrete. But here's where China and Russia are proving their seriousness. They're not merely talking about the Arctic, they're building for it. Let's start with China. In 2019, it launched the Zhulong 2, also known as Snowdragon 2, the world's first smart, dual-directional ice-breaking research vessel. This ship can break through 1.5 meters of ice, both forward and backward. At 122 meters long with a Polar Class 3 rating, it's fitted with next-generation navigation systems, environmental sensors, and advanced satellite communications. The Snowdragon 2 isn't just an icebreaker, it's a pathfinder for China's Arctic ambitions. But China isn't going it alone. In 2024, a major deal was signed between China's Sinotrans Shipping and Russia's Rosatom, the state-owned nuclear energy giant that also manages the Northern Sea Route. The agreement built 5 new ARC-7 class polar container ships, powerful vessels designed specifically for Arctic conditions, and have them fully operational by 2027. To put that in perspective, these ARC-7 ships can plow through 2.1 meters of solid ice without needing an escort. They're like armored tanks of the sea, massive, self-reliant, and built for survival in the planet's toughest waters. Meanwhile, Russia is scaling up fast. In 2023, total cargo volume along the northern sea route reached around 36 million tons. But Moscow's target for 2030? A staggering 270 million tons, nearly a seven-fold increase in just 7 years. That's not a mere trade plan. It's an attempt to carve out a new global artery that Russia and China can control from start to finish. From ships and ports to fuel and security, the entire ecosystem is being built under their watch. Think of it like constructing a parallel internet, not for data, but for global cargo. While the West debates environmental policy and Arctic access, China and Russia are busy laying steel, welding hulls, and cutting through ice. But that brings us to the final and most important question. Is the Arctic Express truly the future of global trade, or just an ambitious frozen gamble? Now that we've explored the ambition, the politics, and the technology behind China and Russia's Arctic vision, the question remains, can the Polar Silk Road truly become the future of global trade, or will it remain a high-risk experiment trapped in ice? Let's be honest. The idea is revolutionary, but not without massive challenges. First, there's nature itself. The Arctic is unpredictable. Even with the most advanced icebreakers, weather forecasting, and satellite mapping, storms can form in minutes. Ice sheets can drift unpredictably, and visibility can drop to zero. One accident, like a ship getting trapped or a fuel spill, could freeze progress for years, both literally and politically. Environmental activists and Western governments would use that as proof that the Arctic should remain off-limits for trade. Then there's geopolitics. The U.S. and its allies view the Northern Sea Route not just as a commercial corridor, but as a strategic threat. It's seen as a way for China and Russia to bypass Western-controlled chokepoints like the Suez Canal and Strait of Malacca. That means future confrontations, whether in trade regulations, sanctions, or even naval patrols, are almost guaranteed. Next, there's infrastructure. Building and maintaining Arctic ports, fueling stations, and communication systems in sub-zero temperatures is incredibly expensive. A single Arctic deepwater port can cost over $1 billion, and that's before accounting for the cost of maintaining it year-round against ice buildup, erosion, and equipment damage. However, there's another side to this story. The same harshness that makes the Arctic so challenging also makes it strategically priceless. The ice is melting faster each decade, revealing vast untapped reserves of oil, gas, and rare earth minerals. Whoever controls the Arctic doesn't just gain a new shipping route, they gain access to the last great resource frontier on Earth. China and Russia understand this better than anyone. The Polar Silk Road isn't just about faster trade, it's about long-term power, energy control, and global influence. While Western economies focus on decarbonization and regulation, Beijing and Moscow are securing access to critical materials, military leverage, and transport dominance that could redefine global logistics for the next century. So yes, it's risky. But so was the construction of the Suez Canal, the Trans-Siberian Railway, and even the Belt and Road Initiative itself. History rewards those who dare to build when others hesitate. The Arctic, once dismissed as a frozen wasteland, is now emerging as the new equator of power, where the future of trade, technology, and geopolitics may soon intersect. And as China and Russia forge ahead through the ice, the world watches, wondering if the Arctic Express will become the next global superhighway, or remain a frozen monument to ambition.